Hello friends, thank you so much for joining me today. Many of you have asked some absolutely great questions over the past few months, specifically related to the makeup issues and challenges that those of us with mature skin who are over 50, 60, 70, and beyond deal with on a regular basis. And since I imagine that more than one of you just might have some of these same questions, I thought it could be helpful to go over these questions and provide what I hope will be some helpful information. And if you have other questions, please do feel free to leave them in the comments section below so we can talk about them in a future video. When I respond to your questions, I'm going to demonstrate some of the techniques that I'm talking about. So I've only put makeup on just one of my eyes and only have face primer and foundation on this side of my face. If you're new to this channel, I want to extend a very warm welcome to you. My name is Elise and I'm a professional working makeup artist who's passionate about helping those of us who are 50 plus look on the outside how we feel on the inside so we can look and feel our confident best. When it's safe to do so, I teach in-person classes specifically on makeup techniques for those of us over 50. And I also love doing individual makeup consultations via Zoom, as well as presentations to various women's groups. And if you're interested in learning more, I've included my contact information in the description box below, since I've had questions from several of you. Recently, I've had messages from a few of you who are over 50 who've said that you especially appreciate learning makeup techniques and information specifically for those of us over 50. And I was so delighted to hear this because, quite honestly, that's precisely why I launched this YouTube channel last November. There's simply not all that much makeup information out there specifically for those of us who are 50 plus. So I produce new YouTube videos weekly every Thursday and hope that if you haven't done so already, you'll consider joining our really wonderful group of women by subscribing to this channel. It's easy to do. All you have to do is hit that red subscribe button. And if you also hit the bell icon below the video and to the right, you'll be notified every Thursday when a new video is available. And I thank you so very much if you decide to do so. Now, let's dive into those questions. The first question is from Becky, who said she has very small eyes and she wants to know how to make her eyes look bigger. Well, one of the things that's so much fun about makeup is that much of it is about smoke and mirrors, which involves color theory and application techniques. And it's really amazing what just a few small tweaks can do to help us look our best. So to make our eyes look bigger, there are really 6 different things we can do. Number 1 is to fill in our brows. I think you can tell that this eye looks not only more lifted, but also bigger because I have filled in that brow area. Filling in the brows helps the whole eye area appear more lifted and larger. The second thing we can do is to put a light colored eyeshadow on our eyelid, which I'm going to do shortly. And third, we need to put a mid-tone color in our crease and bring this color slightly above the crease. This extends the eye area up and makes the eyes look bigger. And let me show you what a difference that makes when I demonstrate. Fourth, never let the eyeshadow go lower than the line you create when you put your pencil by the side of your nose and up along the outer corner of your eye. Keeping the eyeshadow above this line lifts the eyes and makes them look bigger. Fifth, curl your eyelashes, and sixth, apply mascara to both the top and the bottom lashes. This expands the look of the whole area, which makes the eyes look larger. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up this eye. I'm going to start by putting on my eyebrow on this side of my face, and I'm going to just gently outline the pattern that I want for my brow right along the top. And then fill in along the bottom. I'm using the e.l.f. brow pencil, which has a spoolie on the other end, so I'm going to gently put that over the whole brow area to get off any excess product and also to make it look a little bit more natural. Just going to fill in a little bit more to make these eyebrows match a little bit better. I think you can see what filling in that second brow does to lift that eye area, but also make that whole eye area look more expansive. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the lighter color on my eyelid, and I'm going to put the mid-tone color slightly above my crease as well as in the crease. First, I'm putting the eyeshadow on the lid area, the lighter color. Then I'm going to take a smaller brush and I'm going to fill in the inner corner of my eye to lighten and open up that area. Also going to put a little bit of this lighter color right under the arch of my brow. The light color on my eyelid makes my eyes come forward, which makes them look larger. Now I'm going to take a mid-tone brown color and I'm going to put it in that crease area. As you can see, I'm using a very soft, fluffy brush, so it really diffuses the color nicely. And I'm putting it slightly above the crease as well, which helps lift that eye area. So now I'm going to take this other brush and just blend out the edges so there's no indication of any demarcation along the edges, no harsh lines. I'm putting a dark blue color along this outer area of the crease, and I'm going to bring it down into a backward 7 to meet the eyelash area. And I'm going to talk in a little bit about why I chose this color. Then I'm going to take a fluffy brush and I'm going to blend the edges. Put a little bit more of this along, just along the lash line and the outer part of the eye. And then I'm going to blend. Added some eyeliner to my eye, and then I'm going to put on some mascara. First, curling my lashes, putting on mascara on the top lashes, and then adding it to the bottom lashes as well. So what I've done is I've filled in my eyebrow, I've added a light eyeshadow color to my lid area and also to the inner corner and slightly above the arch of my brow. Then I put a mid-tone color, sort of a beigey brown, in the crease of my eye and brought it up a little bit above the crease, which lifts my eye area and really opens it up some more. Then I put a little bit of eyeliner, just gently smudged a little bit along here. And let me show you what I was talking about with never letting the eyeshadow come down below a certain point. And grabbing one end of a thin brush, putting it along the outer edge of my nose, along the outer edge of my eye, and your eyeshadow should never come below this area. To make sure that that hasn't happened, what I'm going to do is take a makeup wipe and I'm just going to go right along that area to make sure that there's nothing below that line. Our second question is from Vicky. She says, I have blue eyes. What's the best eyeshadow color for me to wear? Well, the color that will make our eyes stand out the most is the color on the color wheel that is opposite from your eye color. I'm sure you all remember that colors opposite each other on the color wheel are called complementary colors. So let's take a look at a makeup artist color wheel so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the makeup artist color wheel, and if you look at the bottom part of the color wheel where you see the blues, if you go opposite on the color wheel, you'll see browns and light and darker and mid-tone oranges. Those are the colors that can really make blue eyes pop and look terrific. So for blue eyes, warm shades of neutral beiges and browns are absolutely beautiful, as well as terracotta shades and colors with a hint of orange. Golds and deeper browns are great for evening. Green eyes look absolutely spectacular with lilac, plum, purple, pink, burgundy, wine, and copper colors. And if you have hazel eyes, great eyeshadow colors are warm bronzes and browns and golds. And if you want to bring out the greens and golds, try a bronze or eggplant color. Also, periwinkle and light purple and pale pink can be great. And then on the makeup artist color chart, you can see the colors that are across from green. So for green eyes, those are absolutely gorgeous colors. They're the purples and lavenders and plums. And also toward the hazel end of things where the lighter green happens, you can see also that those colors move into the blues and purples. And since brown eyes contain shades of orange and red, Midnight blue or navy blue, green and gold can work to really highlight brown eyes. And for gray eyes, shades of blue, green, or brown can be absolutely gorgeous. And if you have very dark brown or black eyes, try bold shades like violet, cobalt, navy blue, and silver or green. And by the way, I will include this list of best colors for different eye colors in the description box below. As you can see from my eyes, I have brown eyes, and I've added a navy blue color to the outer edge of my eyeshadow and carried it down toward the lash line. Blue is really what makes brown eyes pop. Now let's move on to question 3 from Jean. She said that her eyebrows are very sparse. In fact, some areas of her brows have very few hairs, so she wanted to know what to do. Well, first, it's important to know which types of eyebrow products will work the best for this particular situation. And although a powder eyebrow product is probably the easiest to use, powder shadow doesn't adhere well to bare skin, so either an eyebrow pencil or eyebrow pomade will really work the best for this particular situation. I would generally recommend a pencil over pomade because sometimes pomade can look a little bit heavy or blocky on the brows. You'll also want to use 2 different shades of an eyebrow pencil, one that matches your brow hair and one that is a little bit lighter. First, you want to apply the lighter color on the whole brow area, and then use the darker pencil to go over just the area where you have no hair on your brow. This will ensure that the 2 areas of the brow, the area with hair and the area without hair, will match. And then, since pencil on bare skin can sometimes look shiny, you can apply a little matching eyebrow powder or powder eyeshadow to the area where you applied the darker pencil. Our next question comes from Annette, who asks about liquid foundation and whether she should use cream or powder bronzer and blush if she's wearing a liquid foundation. Well, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you probably already know that I'm a big proponent of cream blush and bronzer for several reasons. First of all, it blends in so easily and seamlessly into liquid or cream foundation, which frankly is what most of us wear. And it also adds a lovely look of moisture to the skin. And since many of us have dry skin, this does become even more important. However, you certainly can use a powder blush or a powder bronzer, but this is very important. There's a rule of thumb that you need to be aware of. You always want to match textures of makeup products. So if you're wearing a cream or liquid foundation, apply powder lightly over the skin where you're going to be applying the powder blush and the powder bronzer. The reason for this is that if you apply a powder directly over a cream, it will catch and tug and not glide on smoothly, which can cause the powder product to look a bit splotchy. However, if you apply powder over the liquid or cream foundation first, you'll be applying a powder product over a powder product, which means it will glide on easily. You always want to apply powder on top of powder and cream on top of cream. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply some cream blush over on this side of my face, and then I'll top it off with some powder, and then I'll apply a powder blush on top. I put a little bit of moisturizer on the back of my hand. I'm going to dip my finger into the moisturizer and then on top of my stick cream blush that I'm using. And I'm going to start at the back, and I'm just going to dab a little bit along the middle part of my cheekbone, from the outer corner to about the middle of my eye. So I think you can see that that added a little bit of flush to my cheek. Then I'm going to take a little bit of Laura Mercier translucent powder, and this happens to be a loose powder, and I'm just going to press it on top of the blush. And then I'm gently going to put some blush starting at the back and lightly bring it toward the center. So I've put the cream blush on first, followed by powder, and then a powder blush on top of it. And I'm going to do the same thing with bronzer. I'm going to use a sponge for this application, and I'm going to start at the back. And I'm using a cream bronzer, just bringing it along under the very bottom part of my cheekbone. I'm also going to bring it underneath my jawline. And I'm going to put it on the other side of my face as well. Then I'm going to take my translucent powder, tap it off, and then press it in to the bronzer on both sides of my face. So I have a little bit of powder over the cream bronzer. Then I'm going to take my powder bronzer and I'm going to apply that. And then I like to take my dampened makeup sponge. I'm using my Juno sponge, and I'm just going to press it along the edges just so I can have everything look seamless. This really blends it in and melds everything together. I'm next going to take just a little bit of finishing powder. This finishing powder is from my Hourglass Ghost Edit palette, which I think you've probably heard me talk about, which I love. And this also just helps everything blend together. Also gives a little bit of just a soft glow to the skin, which I love. Then on top of it, I'm going to add a little bit of powder blush. So I think you can see I've put powder on top of powder with both the blush and the bronzer. And while we're talking about bronzer and blush, let's take a look at a question from Joyce. She asked about blush. She said her blush always disappears after a short time, and she wondered how to make it last longer. Well, I have a hunch that a few of you watching have also experienced the same problem. I know I certainly have. There's a one-word solution for this problem with blush: layering. So if you're wearing a cream or a liquid foundation, first apply a cream blush. Then apply a very light coat of powder over the cream blush and really push it into the skin with a brush or a powder puff. And then top it off with a powder blush. This application method will absolutely ensure that your blush will last longer. Now let's move on to Phyllis's question. She asked about her nose. She said it's fairly wide, and how does she make it look smaller or thinner? So to make our nose look thinner, we want to use a light bronzer powder down the side of the nose and a light color down the center of the nose. Using the darker color along the sides of the nose will make the nose recede a bit, and the entire nose will look smaller. Putting a lighter color down the center of the nose will draw attention to the thin streak of light color, which also helps the nose look smaller. So what I did to contour my nose was take some bronzer powder on a fluffy brush like this, and then I took the brush and I took it down the side of my nose, each side of my nose. Then I took a larger fluffy brush and I blended it in thoroughly. I next took a lighter product and went right down the center of my nose. And then what I did to make it all look seamless is I took some of my translucent powder and I just went over it all, just to make sure there were no harsh edges. And there you have it. Those are the steps you can use to make your nose look a little bit thinner. And our final question comes from Gail. She's going to be going to her daughter's wedding late this summer, and she wonders if there's anything she should do differently with her makeup. And the answer is definitely yes. Since photos will likely be taken at a wedding or any kind of event, two things are important to avoid flashback in the photos. Number one, don't wear a foundation with SPF in it or SPF. And two, don't use white colorless powder. Also keep in mind the time of day of the wedding. You can wear slightly more makeup if it's an evening wedding, and the earlier in the day the wedding is, the lighter you'll probably want your makeup application to be. All of this is based on the amount of light that will be available when photos are taken. And you'll definitely want to sweat-proof your makeup as well if you're going to a summer wedding or any kind of summer event. I did an earlier video on how to sweat-proof your makeup, and I'll include a link to it in the description box below. So that's all the questions for now, but as I mentioned earlier, please be sure to include any questions that you have in the comments box below so we can address them in a future video. And if you enjoyed this video, I hope you will consider giving it a thumbs up. I'm so very grateful that so many of you have said that you'd like to see my channel grow, which means so much to me. And one way you can definitely help my channel grow is to give today's video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And it turns out that giving a video a thumbs up helps because the video will then show up as a suggested video to other people. So a huge thank you if you decide to do this. I'm so glad you could be here with me today, and I'm sending you all my best wishes for a fabulous rest of your day, and please stay happy and especially healthy. Take care.